For centuries, we've pretty much placed ourselves at the top of the intellectual pyramid. We write sonnets, build skyscrapers, and ponder the meaning of the stars. But what if the story of intelligence on this planet is far richer, more varied, and frankly, a lot weirder than we've ever imagined? What if hidden in the rustle of leaves, the dark of the ocean, and the silence of the savannah, there are other minds? Minds that rival our own in ways we're only just beginning to grasp? Today, we're going inside the minds of some of the planet's most incredible animals to uncover the astonishing cognitive abilities and emotional worlds that have remained hidden until now. When you hear the word intelligence, your mind probably jumps to problem solving. It's the hallmark of a mind that can look at a situation, weigh the options, and come up with a new solution. For the longest time, we figured that was our thing, an ability exclusive to humans and maybe a few of our closest primate relatives. But the wild is filled with thinkers, architects of thought that tackle challenges with a creativity that goes way beyond simple instinct. Let's start in the Salapur Wildlife Sanctuary in Thailand, home to the Asian elephant. An adult elephant's brain is the largest of any land animal, weighing up to 11 pounds. But size isn't everything. It's what they do with it that's so mind-blowing. To test the limits of their brain power, researchers set up a fascinating experiment. They designed special puzzle boxes, each containing a delicious and very fragrant piece of jackfruit. To get the treat, an elephant wouldn't just have to be strong, it would have to be clever. The boxes had 3 different compartments, each with a unique lock. One door had to be pulled, another had to be pushed, and a third had to be slid to the side. Motion-activated cameras watched as 77 wild elephants approached the puzzles, and what they saw wasn't some uniform, instinct-driven behavior. It was a showcase of individual personality and intellect. 44 of the elephants chose to engage with the boxes, and their methods were incredibly diverse. Some were careful, others were bold. Some were stubborn, trying one thing over and over, while others systematically tested different actions. The results were amazing. 11 elephants figured out how to open one type of door, and 8 mastered 2 different kinds. But 5 elephants, the most innovative of the bunch, successfully solved all 3 puzzles. They learned to pull, push, and slide, demonstrating a level of abstract problem solving that had never been confirmed in the wild. This isn't just a cool party trick. This kind of mental flexibility is a critical tool for survival in a world that's rapidly changing because of us. In areas where human and elephant territories overlap, elephants have been seen using their intelligence to outsmart human-made obstacles. They've learned their tusks don't conduct electricity and use them to lift and break electric fences, allowing their herd to pass through safely. This ability to learn, innovate, and even teach is proof of a mind that is actively thinking, adapting, and learning. But is the ability to cook up solutions to new problems limited to famously brainy animals? What happens when we look at a creature often seen as a common pest? Our journey now takes us from a quiet sanctuary in Thailand to the bustling concrete jungles of our own cities. Here, the red fox has become a master of urban survival. To a fox, a city isn't a chaotic maze of stone and light. It's a landscape of opportunity packed with resources for those smart enough to find them. Urban foxes have shown incredible cognitive mapping skills. They create detailed mental blueprints of their territories that include not just food and shelter, but also of human schedules. They learn the routes of garbage trucks, the closing times of restaurants and traffic patterns, all to navigate their world more safely and effectively. This is more than just scavenging. It's complex, multi-step problem solving. A fox might see a well-meaning person put out a squirrel-proof bird feeder. To the fox, this isn't a dead end, it's a puzzle. It will watch, assess, and test the feeder from different angles, probing for weakness until it learns the precise sequence of actions needed to get the food. They show a behavioral flexibility that allows them to thrive in an environment that couldn't be more different from their natural habitat. This is intelligence forged not in a stable wilderness, but in the chaotic, ever-changing heart of human civilization. Solving a problem in front of you is one thing, but foresight, the ability to plan for a future you can't see yet, to make a tool for a job that isn't at hand, this is where animal intelligence enters a realm that, for millennia, we thought was ours alone. Making a tool requires a kind of mental time travel to see a need, imagine an object to meet it, and then create it from the world around you. Let's head to the tropical forests of New Caledonia in the South Pacific. This is the home of a bird that has completely rewritten the book on bird brains, the New Caledonian crow. These birds aren't just tool users, they are master craftspeople. They're famous for making a variety of complex tools to dig out beetle grubs from deep inside trees. They'll find a forked twig and meticulously snip and strip it into a perfect hook. They tear the edges of tough leaves to create barbed, saw-like instruments. This isn't random. The design is deliberate, specialized for the job. Their beaks have even evolved along with their tool-using culture, becoming straighter to allow for a more precise, powerful grip. The genius of these crows was tested in an experiment straight out of Aesop's fables. In the story, a thirsty crow drops stones into a pitcher to raise the water level. Scientists wanted to know, could a real crow actually do that? They gave New Caledonian crows a narrow tube of water with a floating tree just out of reach with a pile of stones nearby. The crows, after a moment of assessment, started dropping the stones into the tube, methodically raising the water level until the food was theirs. They didn't just do it. They understood the physics. When given a choice between sinking objects and floating ones, they always chose the sinking ones. They chose large stones over small ones, which got them the reward faster. It was a startlingly sophisticated display of cause and effect. But it gets even crazier. They've mastered something called metatool use, using one tool to get another. In one mind-bending experiment, a crow needed to get a food prize out of a locked box. A short stick was available, but it was too short. However, that stick could be used to drag a longer stick out of another box, which could then get the food. 6 out of 7 crows tested solved this multi-step puzzle on their first try, a feat of planning we'd previously only seen in primates. In an even more amazing display, a crow named Mango with zero training figured out how to build a longer tool by fitting smaller, non-functional parts together. That's the animal equivalent of building a complex machine from a blueprint in its own head. So we've seen animals can innovate and build, but is it all just cold calculation, or is there something more? Do they feel, too? For ages, the idea of animal emotion was written off as just us projecting our own feelings onto them. The scientific evidence is piling up, and a new consensus is here. Animal sentience, the ability to feel things like joy, fear, and pain, is now widely accepted for a huge range of species. The 2024 New York Declaration on Animal Consciousness, signed by hundreds of scientists, states there is strong support for conscious experience in mammals and birds, and a real possibility in many other creatures, including octopuses. This isn't just sentiment. It's science. And nowhere is this emotional depth more obvious than in the complex social lives of some of the world's most iconic animals. Let's go back to the elephants, whose emotional lives are as massive as they are. Elephants live in tight-knit, multi-generational families led by a matriarch. These bonds aren't just for safety. They are deeply emotional. They form lifelong friendships, care for their sick and injured, and clearly mourn their dead. Observers have watched elephants stand for hours over the remains of a family member, gently touching the bones with their trunks. They will return to these same spots for years, like a pilgrimage of remembrance. They show clear signs of empathy, rushing to comfort a distressed herd member with soft rumbles and gentle touches. This deep social connection is mirrored in the forests and tundra of the Northern Hemisphere. In the heart of the wolf pack, that classic image of the alpha wolf, a ruthless leader who rules by force. Yeah, that's almost completely wrong. A wolf pack isn't a group of rivals, it's a complex extended family. The pack is usually led by a breeding pair, the parents of the group, and their leadership is based on experience and trust, not aggression. The pack is a wolf's entire world. They're so devoted to their family that losing a key member like a parent can cause the entire pack to fall apart. Their survival hinges on cooperation that's impossible without deep emotional bonds. When hunting large prey like moose or bison, wolves use sophisticated, coordinated strategies. They communicate with subtle body language and sounds, with each member understanding their role. There are drivers, blockers, and chasers all working together in fluid harmony. This level of teamwork requires not just smarts, but trust and a shared understanding of each other's intentions and emotional states. They groom each other, play together, and raise their pups as a group. They even care for their elderly and injured, bringing them food. It's a society built on a foundation of emotional connection. Intelligence and emotion aren't just abstract ideas. They are practical real-world tools shaped by evolution to solve the biggest problems of life: finding food, staying safe, and making sure there's a next generation. The world's greatest adapters show us this intelligence in action, a beautiful dance of mind and body. Take the Arctic tern. This little seabird, weighing just a few ounces, is the undisputed king of migration. Every year, it makes a mind-boggling round-trip journey from its Arctic breeding grounds to Antarctica and back, a trip that can be over 44,000 miles. Over its lifetime, that's like flying to the moon and back 3 times. To pull this off requires more than just stamina. It demands one of nature's most sophisticated navigation systems. The tern uses the sun and stars, but it also has a hidden sense. Its brain contains a compound called biomagnetite, which allows it to perceive the Earth's magnetic field. It can literally see the invisible lines of force that wrap our planet, using them as a global compass to guide its journey with breathtaking accuracy. But perhaps no creature challenges our definition of intelligence more than one that evolved on a totally separate branch of life's tree. Our last common ancestor with the octopus was a simple worm-like thing that lived over 500 million years ago. And yet, they've evolved a mind of profound, almost alien complexity. An octopus's nervous system is radically decentralized. 2/3 of its neurons aren't in its central brain, but in its 8 arms. Each arm effectively has a mind of its own, able to independently taste, touch, and move. This distributed intelligence makes them the ultimate escape artists. Since they have no bones, an octopus can squeeze its body through any opening its hard parrot-like beak can fit through. They've been seen opening screw-top jars from the inside, solving complex mazes, and even escaping from aquarium tanks to crawl across the floor and disappear down a drain pipe to the sea. And then there's the mimic octopus, the master of disguise. Discovered in 1998, this animal doesn't just blend in. It actively impersonates other animals. It can change its shape, color, texture, and movement to imitate up to 15 different species, often picking the one best suited to scare off a specific predator. If harassed by a damselfish, it will morph into the shape of a banded sea snake, a known predator of damselfish. It can flatten itself to look like a poisonous sole or splay its arms to mimic the venomous spines of a lionfish. This isn't a reflex. It requires the octopus to spot a threat, access a mental library of dangerous animals, and choose the right costume for the situation. It's tactical, adaptive intelligence that is simply mind-blowing. From puzzle-solving elephants and tool-making crows to grieving wolves and shape-shifting octopuses, we've seen minds at work in ways that shatter our old assumptions. Exploring the minds of animals is more than anything a lesson in humility. It forces us to throw out that old idea of an intelligence ladder with humans sitting at the top. Instead, we find a rich branching tree of consciousness. There isn't one kind of intelligence, but thousands. Each one is a unique adaptation, a different way of thinking, feeling, and being shaped by millions of years of evolution. And this revelation has never been more urgent. As we continue to shape this planet, understanding that we share it with other thinking, feeling beings is a profound responsibility. The scientific consensus on animal sentience is growing, and with it the moral imperative to protect these minds. Their ability to adapt, solve problems, and innovate is their greatest asset for survival, and it's our duty to make sure they have a world left to adapt to. The story of intelligence on Earth isn't just our story. It's a chorus of countless voices, a symphony of minds both great and small. And we have only just begun to listen. If you found this journey into the animal mind as fascinating as we did, be sure to subscribe for more explorations into our incredible world. And don't forget to like this video to help us share these stories. What animal's intelligence fascinates you the most? Let us know in the comments below.